try to do this. And what you know, I forgot. I have a microphone. I forget everything nowadays. What is that? I have to talk with Alzheimer's. If he can be a little bit patient with me, I'm not ready to forget everything. So, Mr. Alzheimer, do you weep over that? I don't think so. Someone should find some kind of a tool to operate away that kind of problem. I had to have my coffee today because it's much needed today. Nowadays, people are saying a lot of stuff that they can't even mean. They can't even rationalize. They can't even reason with today. People, for example, say the religion is the root of all evil. Cheers for that. What a nonsense. That can't even be defended in a rational court of law. I think religion stands for a lot of problem due to the intolerable separation between people, between acceptance. Because I have this and that religion, I can't accept you. But they don't depart, they don't separate people from what they believe. So they regard people as evil, and they can't divide, they can't separate. That they have just a belief that makes them do bad things. And it doesn't mean that since I view people in that way, people in that religion can't also do good. I'm sitting and listening to this choir from Kenya. Yes. So it is a song about God. People use God for whatever reason, and that is evil. I think if you take God's name in vain, that is evil in its core. God said this and that. God said, I may take. But you see, when you start referring to God, you will get hit back. You will get hit. So those that say religion is the root of all evil have to defend that kind of a statement. How so? What make my belief as a evil person? It's up to you to define whether I'm evil or not. But I can agree that some people doesn't part from their religion. It's the new norm. It's the new norm of religious people. The new level. But I think it is the old part. That if you obey, if you do what I say, you are okay. So if you dispute me, you dispute God. What is that? If you dispute me, if you disagree with me, you dispute God. What is that? That is the new level of a high and mighty, and so what we have something here that is illegal for the sportsman. It's a kind of a drug that when you use it, you enhance your muscles. Anabolic steroids. Steroids. They are Christians on steroids. Let me write that down. I better do it on Google because it can be stereo. Yeah.
Christians on steroids.
Christians on steroids. I think that is a good heading. Christians on steroids. They have reached the level that the snake in the garden said, you will be as gods. You will be gods. You will be as God, knowing everything. And those brain dead Christians, and I don't want to talk about Muslims, but we have some of them too. I don't like to criticize other religions, but I can criticize the people that serves, they claim to serve that God. God, I agree, but you can't serve God not knowing what you are serving. I said previous, you can only serve the truth. If you are right, you are right. But it can change within minutes, even within seconds. That if you are right, if someone comes and disputes you and proves that you are wrong, not only do you have to change, you have learned. If you change, you have learned. Learned experience is what you have changed. If you don't change, you haven't learned anything. That's why I also say, if you pray to God, if you say that you serve Him, and there is no changes in your life, you see, it is a degree of impact on me. I'm not the right one, as I said many times, more or less, to say such a thing, but and I feel very strongly about it on my own limited on my own limitations. I shouldn't talk so much about changing, because it lacks here too. But even though it lacks very much, we have to talk openly about it. You are no Superman. There is only a cartoon figure. There is only a fairy tale of Superman. You can't be that. You are normal. You are more than normal. You are limited. I told in the beginning of my debates, when they disputed the notion of God, I said, you guys, you are only talking about God from your very limited way, from your very limited status, from your very limited ability. So when we are talking about God, we more or less talk about ourselves. When we talk about reality, we talk about ourselves, our limitations. We express our limitations. That's how we can express that. But if we are talking about anything outside, seemingly outside of us, we are talking about our perceptions, how we view things, even in scientific terms. It's only a projection of ourselves. And that shows, because coming to scientists, science facts, and those issues, it's all about how to express our limited ability to know what's really out there. So I'm not going into that either, because I'm limited. That's kind of obvious. So where does the bite of the tail start? Where does it start? People say that religion is the root of all evil. They have no mind of themselves. But when you see Christians on steroids, you may doubt that that statement is wrong. Because Christians can do all sorts of ill actions in God's name. They kill people in God's name. They molest people. They enslave people. They manipulate people to do their own service in the name of God. So people that tend to use the name of God for their own benefit and to serve their own view on themselves, that they are so high and mighty, that even they can claim that God will do this, God will do that. If, and I told a guy here on Facebook that, is there any if with God? Is there any if? If God, if you do that, God will do that. How dare you talk like that? So it is a continuous conflict between the secularists, the atheists, the leftists, and the religious people. And the religious people put it up on the table in order for the leftists, all those, to pluck it up and throw it out at the religious. I understand that kind of drive they have of being provoked by Christians that doesn't serve the humanity any good because they are so high and mighty. But there is a big but here. But you can't zip it up without that but. So you have the extreme leftists. Some are rational because they claim to be rational. And they try to even follow that. That if they have nothing to say, they make you a laughingstock. And if they can't make you a laughingstock, they just keep silent. As they do, I've asked them. Now it's in the core of issues. I asked them, what is the Palestinians' claim that Israel should do in order for making peace? That they couldn't answer, because it is so horrendous. Even they accept the grossness of that claim, what the Palestinians are claiming. Because if you go to some information that Palestinians are not even afraid to put out there, it's the whole map of Israel. And that they call Palestinian. And it's just a tiny group, I have to say. It's not 4 or 6 or 2 million. It is a few that was chased, scared away from Israel, that became refugees. And who was the responsible part of that? Partly it's Israel, because Israel needed to defend herself. That's why they also removed many of them to survive as a democracy, survive as a nation. The other part of that reason is that they were scared by their own leaders. Now Israel have the atom bomb. It was back in the 60s, 40s, 50s, 60s, that they scared the Palestinians that were living in Haifa, Tel Aviv and Jerusalem, Hebron. That Israel have this atom bomb, and if you are not aware, they will use it on you. So you see, they had this. I think the cannon. It was called David. It was making more noise than efficiency of hitting a target. So it was that big blast. And when they did it, wow, that was the biggest blast they have heard, and they got scared. And I would be scared too if I heard that David hitting the target. You see, so the map of the Palestinian country, as they claim, it's the whole Israel. And that the leftists can't really live with. It's hard to admit that is the real demand. And still they are accusing Israel for ethnic cleansing. And to be honest, who is the real ethnic cleanser? It's the Palestinian that can't tolerate even a Jew in Gaza, even a Jew in so-called West Bank, which is Judea and Samaria. They can't tolerate it. So who is the Nazist and apartheid here. So back to the topic of high and mighty, to be extreme, to be the personal entity of what is right, and to be the owner of being the informant of what is wrong. It is the leftists. Yet again, they who claim that religion is the root core of all evil, they are just that. Some of them, not all of them, of course. Scientists, maybe Christians, maybe Jews, even Muslims. Muslims had this high degree of maths that they could calculate, and very bright people within the Muslim people, if they could advance in that field. But religion put a stop to that. But the Hebrew people and Christians have never put a stop to scientists. So you can believe in God, you can believe in eternal life as a scientist, and that scientist will not be the core of all evil. It's just a brainless statement. And what they are doing is claim that science is the truth. Who would talk like that? I wouldn't even say that the Christians' religion is the whole truth. No, I wouldn't even say, because how can I back that up? It's just a foolish statement that comes from not so bright people. So some of those leftists that are claiming those things, they don't know if the science is correct or not, because every year, every decade, every so often, the science have to reorientate their conclusions. As I said in the start, to say something about something outside of us is just the expression of how we see things, how our perceptions are functioning. If I give a explanation on what things are, it's out of my perception, my ability to perceive. That's the whole thing. It's very human based. If an ant or a lion or someone else would give the same task to explain something, it would be entirely different, because the perceptions are different. So it's not only what human can agree on. We have more or less the same eyes, the same sensory organs that we are using. So how could they just relate it to the humans? But we can call it science, we can call it whatever. And religion have some books. The Jews have a book called Torah, the Bible, that explains the trajectory of the creation. And it's done with a purpose. Science doesn't do that. Science just don't explain. So they jumped to the evolution theory that is proof of evolution. The little cell developed to some human being or whatever. No, it can't be. It can't be a cheating road for any of us. Not even religion, not science, can't cheat their way around. So people that claim my religion is giving the answer for the whole universe, I can't do that. Because it takes more than a human to back it up. My friends, I have talked to you now. The leftists, the atheists, even the Christians have put their name in front of God, high and mighty, on steroids. How much of a steroid have you taken this day in order to sober up? You don't take steroids in order to sober up. You take water, you take coffee, you take a good night's sleep. Don't go overboard with your own high and your sense of being the most brilliant intellectual this world has seen. No one is that. We are talking much about Einstein. He's well known. That's why we are talking about him. But there are so many unknown people that have been smart, been inventive, been out there in order to get the good science and people within, especially Judaism, rabbis and so on, they have good explanations for the human condition, how the human is behaving. It's worth listening to. They can explain much about our constitution, how we are constituted, how we are behaving, how things can be explained. And I don't say believe in things, just listen, try to understand from your own perspective. It's not talking about some high and might perspective. When people react to religion, it's as if God is talking out of his own perception, perspective, so that you will not associate yourself with that, and that is maybe the problem too with every kind of theory and religion, belief system that people relate it to not from their own perspective. It should be from my own personal perspective if I can accept it or not. That's how it is. So yesterday was Shabbat. It's a routine. It's a tradition, but it's most of all creation of new life, new beings all over. So I wish you all to take care and don't go on steroids when you are talking about anything. Be you and truthful.